Hey, welcome. Today I will be drawing a human face. I will also explain you the step by step to do it. And I will take this reference photo and turn it into this drawing. So I really hope you find this tutorial helpful. So the first step to actually draw faces is to get good at drawing heads. This is pretty easy to learn, but you really need to practice every day in order to get better. So you should treat the head as some type of sphere in the beginning. So I'm drawing a head that's basically looking straight forward. You divide it in the middle and then you take 2/3 of that ruler there and then you place it also onto the head. I don't know if that makes sense, but so when that middle line there meets the other one, those are the ear, and the ear is usually on the same line as your eyebrow, roughly. Usually the eyebrows are a little bit higher. And then at the bottom of your ears it will be your nose. Then that 2/3 enter again from the nose to the chin, and then a bit higher than half you have the mouth line. Obviously above the eyes will be the eyebrow, and after that you are ready to start drawing the facial features. So the same can be done in other positions. You just take the same guideline but you change a little bit. So like I said, you have to treat it as a sphere, so the ears will be kind of flat around the sphere, the only flat part, and then you start to draw the lines from there. These lines that I'm using now are basically the angle which the face is like turning, and then you do the rest. But I would advise you to always use reference in the beginning because it's really hard to imagine a real face. So just take these and deform them as you go because all faces are different. So here are some of my drawings of heads, my practice. So I did this every day for a while. And then when I was confident enough, I started practicing the human features individually. So only noses, only mouths, like you can see here. And then I just picked references and started drawing the whole thing, which is what you are about to see. Enjoy! So here, as you can see, I'm just starting with the basic head structure, and it's pretty easy because this person is like looking straight. Although he's looking down, the head is straight, so it becomes a little easier. You have to make sure that your guidelines are actually the most accurate they can be because they will help you a lot when you start adding the details. So for some reason, I always start with the nose. I think most people would prefer starting with the eyes because I don't know, it's usually like that. But the nose is actually the center of the face, so for me it makes more sense to start with that because it's my reference to everything basically. And yes, I do start shading right away. It's just how I like to do it. Then I move over to the eyes, and this is a bit tricky because there's always one eye that's good and then the other one that's bad. Usually for me, the right eye usually works and then the left one is just not good. But I guess a lot of artists have that problem. So one thing that I also do quite a lot is just to zoom out and see if the proportions are correct compared to the picture. This is the equivalent of when you're doing an observational drawing and you need to just step back and see how it looks like. This is the same, you just zoom out and see how is it going. and I do take a little bit of time on this. Then I moved over to the eyes, which is my favorite part. I just really like it. When people have clearer eye color, it's really much more interesting to draw because you can see the iris and all that, so you can add those details. But here his eyes are pretty dark, so they're one color only. What really helps you also shade the face and understand the shadows if you take a look at your facial muscles, like in a skeleton or something, and you can see how they affect your face, because this will not help you like draw better, but it will help you understand what you're looking at. And this is very important, because if you understand, then you can easily draw it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. It's like deconstructing the nose in like 3 circles or something like that. It just makes it easier for your brain to interpret whatever you're seeing. So this is a really nice exercise. So in the mouth, I always start with the upper lip. The line that's created by the upper lip and the bottom lip, it's very, very unique to each person, so you should pay attention to that, because that gives a lot of personality. In a normal lighting scene, usually the upper lip is always darker than the bottom one, because it's casted, like the shadow is casted from the nose. Then I add the chin shadow, which is also really important, especially on those shadows under the lip on the sides. That's a very, very characteristic feature also on people. We don't really notice that much, but it gives a lot of depth. And usually the last thing I do is the face and the hair. I do this because if I draw the face first, it's really complicated for me to have that limit and to position every feature inside it, so I prefer to just build the face from the inside out. This is a pretty good reference, and this is why I'm using this one for this video with the comments, because it has a lot of shadows and you can see the bone, kind of the bone structure and the muscle structure. In the other ones that I chose that you voted for, you don't really have these obvious shadows in the features. I'm thinking I should probably start drawing realistic ears also. I'm always lazy on that part. I don't really pay attention to that. But yeah, the last thing I do is the hair. I just try to capture the main shape of the hair. Where is it going, like which direction, and then just paint over it like with just one color, simple, no shading, no details of tiny hairs or anything. And then my last step is to actually put the picture side by side with the drawing and then make the corrections that I think are needed. Because when you have the photo on the other screen, it's not the same as if you have it side by side. It's much easier when you have it side by side. So I just start to add some details, some shadows. and then I added the freckles with a really funny brush. And there it is. I hope you liked it. The drawing doesn't really look like the guy in the picture, but I really like these practices, and the more you do it, the more you'll be able to draw exactly what you see. So to sum up the process that I've been doing so far, first I started with the head guidelines, and this is really annoying because yeah, in the beginning it doesn't really go well. You need to do a bunch of them in a bunch of different angles. Then you draw the facial features the same way, like you try to look for references of noses in different angles, eyes, mouth, all that, because that will change everything. And then you just combine the two and you try to draw from reference always, because even if you put a guideline with the facial features, if you're a beginner, you will never be able to draw a realistic face because it's really hard to imagine a real face. So I would suggest you would always use a reference, at least in the beginning. Okay, that's all the advice I can give you. I hope you liked it. If you have any suggestions or doubts or questions for me, just let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, check my other videos and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye!